The Bitcoin ETF is absolutely bullshit. I'm not saying this for clickbait. I think I'm going to prove to you guys that it really is. Before this, we're going to go into a quick agenda. What we're going to go over is expense ratios for each ticker. We're going to go over who actually owns the actual holdings. I'll explain that. I'll also explain the number of holdings that we have. I think it'll be surprising to you guys. Maybe not some who have been paying attention. And then lastly, I'm going to go over some expense ratio examples that you really want to stay till the end to, because I really do think it's important. I don't understand how these ETFs can be traded. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Quickly, today's sponsor, we actually have a sponsor today. It's me. So basically, under this video, for example, this is one of my old videos, the REIT ETF, growth ETF is here. I have a link to join my Robinhood, whether if you're new to investing or if you want to diversify your SIPC insurance limit. I'm sure most of us, aren't at $500,000 yet, but only, brokerages cover up to $500,000 of insurance for the SIPC limits. I'm sure there's more, but I like to diversify. That's why I have Charles Schwab. That's why I have Fidelity, and that's why I also have Robinhood. So, and if you click that link, you actually get some stocks. So let's go ahead and go through the agenda. Basically, here's what I'm looking at. And I promise you guys, this ETF is bullshit, right? When I think of an ETF, I think of an ETF that, okay, it's got a lot of diversification, right? So I'm in multiple different things. I don't want to do the research, so I might as well have someone else do it for me. Great. First, let's go over expense ratios. Some of these are fine. Honestly, I mean, like, they're definitely more expensive than Vanguard's typically, right? Which I like to invest in. Or, for example, iShares DGRO is like 0.08. So all these are above, but these some aren't too crazy. These are ridiculous. This is an example of mine, so ignore this one. This one is fake. These are absolutely ridiculous. So I wouldn't worry about these, but let's focus on most of these. I'll still keep these in. But expense ratios. So these are obviously least expensive, the most expensive. You get that. Next, the actual coin holders. This is what's interesting. So, for example, when DGRO comes out, right, and they say, okay, you can buy this, some of our dividend growers, right? Well, iShares or BlackRock, right? They're actually going to own the underlying shares. So if they give you an ETF and let's say it owns Visa and, Apple and Microsoft, they're actually going to own those shares themselves, and they're going to give you an ETF as a product that you bought, and you own everything, but it's through an ETF. With this, it's kind of like if you bought an ETF of a bunch of different stocks, but the problem is someone like a different brokerage or whatever owns the actual stocks. So it's super weird. What's interesting, if I was a hacker, look how many are Coinbase. One, two, three, four, five, six. This is fake. So six of them. Six of them. So if I'm a hacker, if I can get into Coinbase, I can get into a lot of different crypto wallets. That's just something that I think of. Next is the number of holdings, and this is where I really do think it's bullshit. This is one of the big reasons. The other one is the expense ratio, which I'll explain in a minute. Look at the holdings. Look at them. One, it's just they're just holding Bitcoin, guys. That's it. They're not holding anything else. There is no diversification. Look, I'll go through every single one. 100% Bitcoin. This one, fund invest in Bitcoin. There is no top 10 holding. It's just Bitcoin. And I'll go through every single one so you guys know 100% is in one thing. Right here, reflect the performance of Bitcoin. I can go through all of these. This is Fidelity, 100% Bitcoin. Fund invest in Bitcoin and Bitcoin only. The top 10 holdings are not available because there's only one. The fund invest in Bitcoin. Right? Seeks to track the price of Bitcoin. And this one's a futures one, so not going to get into this. I don't even know how the total is 145.63%. Pretty sure totals are supposed to be 100. I could be wrong. I could be not understanding something. And then we have Bitcoin here as well, just 100%. So there is zero diversification. Zero. There's no diversification at all. The last example I want to show you guys is something kind of interesting. So let's pretend, have you guys all heard the story of guy buys pizza with Bitcoin? Pretty wild. This guy, I guess, spent $3.8 billion on pizzas. This was back way long ago. I mean, like, yeah, the summer of 2010 when Bitcoin wasn't worth very much. Pretty wild stuff, but we're actually going to use a similar example. So let's pretend you bought a Bitcoin, right? And it's $40,000, right? Now let's pretend that it's just a pizza, right? You have a $40,000 pizza and you're buying an ETF to track pizzas. Okay, great. Well, the pizzas actually don't make any money. They don't have any dividends or anything like that. You just track just like you'd track an ETF for hammers, just like we're tracking Bitcoin, right? The price of Bitcoin goes up and down. The price of pizza can go up and down. The price of hammers can go up and down. Where am I going with this? They have expense ratios, guys. All these have expense ratios. And where do you think that's going to come from? Because when I hold my dividend ETFs, they pay, right, the expense ratio is taking out of the dividend. So it just slows down my compounding just barely, but I'm still getting like, 99% of the dividends or whatever it may be. I'm getting, 100% of the dividends minus this expense ratio, but Bitcoin doesn't make any money. Let me say that again. Bitcoin doesn't make any money. I'm not hating on cryptocurrency. I do own some. But if it doesn't make any money, where's this expense? How are you going to pay? Are they going to send you a bill like in the mail? No, they're not going to send you a bill in the mail. They're going to take it from your fund. And since Bitcoin doesn't make any money, doesn't have anything to take money from a Bitcoin dividend, it's going to take it from your Bitcoin itself, unless if I'm wrong. I could be wrong. But that means basically, let's say you have a $40,000 Bitcoin, and let's say my ETF, right? Stable dividends ETF of 1%, right? Just to make it easy, that's $400, right? That's $400, $40,000 times 0.01. So that leaves you with 0.99 Bitcoin. So you're losing your capital, you're losing it over time. And the other thing I think that is just bullshit to me because you can't even use it. The whole point of cryptocurrency is to not be centralized, right? It's to decentralize. That way you can, basically send $10,000 if you want. If you go to the bank, you can't send $10,000. If you try and wire it to someone, it takes 3 to 5 days and they have to maybe go through approvals. If you want to do anything above like 10,000, maybe like $100,000, you can't. I don't have any reason why I'm sending $100,000 and need it to be sent tomorrow, but that's the whole point, is that no one is checking you because it's decentralized. I don't get it. You can't even use it when you buy it as an ETF. You can't even use it for that. And imagine if you have a pepperoni pizza. Well, next year you're going to have a pepperoni pizza minus one pepperoni because the expense ratio has to be paid from something, right? So it's going to have to take from your however much. If you have 0.5 Bitcoin, 0.0001. I mean, I have so little Bitcoin, it doesn't matter, but it's going to have to take it from somewhere. So you can't use it, and you're going to have less and less over time. I hope that makes sense. So with that, I hope it makes sense. I want to shout out our new subscriber, Kui Yap. I really, really appreciate you. Guys, we are at, what's really, really cool, we are at 35. In the last 20 days, this channel has absolutely exploded. So I really appreciate it, guys. That's why I think the Bitcoin ETF is just absolutely bullshit. Make sure to go down and get your free stocks in the link below by joining Robinhood. And yeah, really, really, really appreciate you guys. What I'm going to do, I'm going to leave 2 videos down here for you guys to check out. I think you guys really like them. And until next time, happy investing.